Hey guys, welcome to the Touchdown Table. I'm Ryan, that's Tyler, that's Jordan. And this video is another part of our deep dive series.
Oh yeah,
in
we're
this
diving
video,
deep.
We are diving deep into the Green Bay Packers.
Ooh.
So who wants to get us started here?
You.
Me? Alright. I am talking about their draft class. They had a total of 8 picks. I'm just going to start from the top. Rashawn Gary, the linebacker from Michigan, 12th overall. I thought that was a really great pick. He's a guy who's very fast. He's very athletic. He can get to the quarterback. I was impressed with him on film. I liked that pick for them. And I talked about this in our draft grades video for picks 9 to 16. Feel free to check that out as well. I talked about how I feel like the Packers are trying to prove that they're not demising. I think they want to prove that they're still could be a contender in the NFC North, that they're not fading away. So I really think this pick kind of symbolizes that, because they kind of wanted to get a rejuvenation of youth into that defense and kind of fill the gap. Clay Matthews left when he went to the Rams. So yeah, Rashawn Gary is a guy that I'm really high on, but this other pick I'm not as high on, Darnell Savage. I know he was a riser kind of late in the draft process, kind of one of those guys who you didn't really hear much about him in the months before the draft, but then a few weeks before his name started popping up a lot. So I really don't think he was the best safety available at this time. I think I had Nasir Adderley above him, and I had Jonathan Abram above him in my rankings, and those guys went after him. So I get it, you want a new safety, but I just don't really think the trade-up was necessary. I'm pretty sure he would have been there if they stayed, or if they traded not as high. So I really don't get the necessity to do this. So, okay, not my favorite pick. But then Elton Jenkins, the guard from Mississippi State. I like that pick. Got to protect Aaron Rodgers as he gets towards the end of his career. I think he's still got a little bit left. And then this is a pick I really like. Jay Sternberger, the tight end out of Texas A&M. Kind of try and be a guy that can block. He can catch passes for Aaron Rodgers. Get that offensive eliteness, I guess, back in Green Bay. I don't think that's a word. So I like that pick. And then looking in the lower end of their draft, Kingsley Keke out of Texas A&M and Kadar Holman out of Toledo. Both defensive players. I don't really think they might be day one starters, but they should provide a lot of depth on that Green Bay defense, which, as I said, is kind of trying to rejuvenate some youth in that. So not bad picks there. And then Dexter Williams, I really like that pick, kind of to maybe compete for a backup running back spot in training camp. And then the 7th round pick, Ty Summers out of TCU, the linebacker, kind of what I said about Kingsley Keke and Kadar Holman, kind of more depth guys on defense, at least for this year, in my opinion. So overall, the Packers draft class, I like it. And my favorite picks out of these, if I could pick 2 that I like the best, I'd say Rashawn Gary and Jay Sternberger.
All right, so there is the draft for the Packers. Please stop. And I'm the defensive guy, so I'm going to be talking about the defense here. I'm just going to go through the roster, start with, and just talk about some key guys. Blake Martinez, I'm going to start with, inside linebacker. He kind of had a little bit of a, I'm here season, hey, I'm still relevant. Blake Martinez did last year, so if he can keep that going, that would be very good for him. The next 2 I'm going to talk about are new additions to the team. The first one being outside linebacker Preston Smith from the Redskins. He's shown a lot of potential, so I think he could add a lot of aggressiveness to that defense. Another pickup that they had in the offseason is Darius Smith from the Ravens. That was also a good pick. He was one of the best pass rushers coming out of free agency, and Packers were able to get 2 very good linebackers, so that is going to help their defense a whole lot. As Ryan talked about, Darnell Savage, also another addition to that defense. My opinions are kind of the same as Ryan with Darnell Savage. I do think he was a great safety. They could have got him where they were. They didn't have to go up and get him. But a solid addition to go along with another safety who they picked up in free agency from the Bears, Adrian Amos. Now, I know a lot about Adrian Amos because I'm a Bears fan. You're getting a lot from Adrian Amos, Packers. You should be very happy to get him. I'm sad that he is no longer on the Bears. But Packers, good job getting him. Let's see. Let's keep going down the list here. Mike Daniels, another one. He's kind of been a little irrelevant. He had a time a couple years ago where he was up on the top of he was more towards the top of the defensive end rankings, and now he's kind of fallen down a little bit. But you'll still get enough out of Mike Daniels. Yeah. We talked about Rashawn Gary as well, what Ryan did during the draft process. I have a lot to say about Rashawn Gary. He was one of my favorite players coming out of the draft, just his speed, and I like the fact that he went to Michigan too, so I just like Michigan. Another one, Jair Alexander, who they drafted in the first round last year. He didn't do all too much, but he still has a lot more time to do things. I do think he could end up being a great cornerback. Another cornerback, Josh Jackson. Same deal with him as for Jair Alexander. I think they could both be something. Kenny Clark is someone that we saw have a breakout season last year. Those are just some of the guys. Let's see if I have anyone else. I think that's all the guys I want to talk about. One more thing I want to talk about, though, is the defensive coordinator, Mike Pettin. I think Matt LaFleur it was very smart for him to keep Mike Pettin around. He's been with the Packers for a couple of years now. He really knows how to encourage these players. And, yeah, just a great defensive coordinator. I wouldn't be surprised to one day if he was actually a head coach. That's how good of a defensive coordinator I think he can be. And with all these new additions, I would say the Packers' defense is most definitely going to improve from last year. And I wouldn't be surprised to say top 15, top 10, maybe even lower or higher than that at the end of next season. All right, well, it's my turn, and I'm going to talk about the remaining part, which is the offense. So I'm going to start on a level that everyone knows, and that is a quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, who is Aaron Rodgers. Now, Aaron...
The guy who always beats the Bears.
Not last year, only
Okay.
once. They actually, Packers are in the all-time series. They're one game above the Bears in all-time series. So,
He's talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I don't care. Aaron Rodgers. So obviously,
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers,
Aaron
is a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the game. That's, well, people can debate. Some people can debate the GOAT. I don't think he's the GOAT, but he's a great quarterback. He's obviously been able to do a lot with that team. He's absolutely the leader in this franchise for sure. He's got a heck of an arm. The only problem with him is that he's sometimes injury prone. He's been injured a lot the past few seasons.
And his attitude.
And his attitude, which is part of the reason why they fired Mike McCarthy, because apparently he was not very happy with what Mike McCarthy was doing. They
Do you
brought
know
in
why?
because they were doing things that he didn't want to do. That's partly what it is.
Okay, why don't you just take over my spot?
Sorry, I
then,
just
like
want
usual.
to say this. This is where we can all butt in here.
No,
Anyways,
I didn't put it on
Mike
yours.
McCarthy, I don't know who it was that he had in front of Aaron Rodgers during the draft
Yeah.
process, but he didn't really like Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers particularly too much, and Aaron Rodgers found out about that and kind of held a grudge against
Oh
him.
wow. Well, Aaron Rodgers was drafted in 2005, so they must. I mean, like that was a long time ago. You think they like didn't work it out all these years?
I mean, the report is that he was still holding a grudge. He's been holding a grudge against Mike McCarthy for a while.
Oh.
It's pretty rude.
Guess they got beef.
But I think Aaron Rodgers is a good quarterback. There's obviously what he said, things about his character that could be questioned, but he's definitely a great player and is the leader of this team currently at the moment right now. That's all mean the same thing. Next part, I really like this person. That's Aaron Jones. He's a running back for the Packers, the number one running back, most likely. I just really like him a lot ever since he has been in the league. Had him in fantasy this year. He did pretty good stuff for me, but he can catch passes. He can run. He's a great running back. I mean, he's someone that he's not a household name or anything, but he's a great player, and I think he's become one of the next young stud running backs in the league. He is 24 years old, so he's young, like I said, and I think he's being good. So watch out for Aaron Jones. And an offense where passing to the running backs is good. He's going to flourish. Next, we'll talk a little about the wide receivers. The wide receiver is just very fun for the Packers because there's a lot of guys, and besides Devontae Adams, there's really a lot of young wide receivers. The oldest the oldest is 27, which is decently old, but I've never really seen them play before. But they're all like 25 or below. So, anyways, talking about the wide receivers, there is the obvious one in Devontae Adams, one of the best receivers in the league. He's just a great player. He's Aaron Rodgers' number one guy. But then there are the other guys like Geronimo Allison, Equanimeous St. Brown, Marcus Valdez-Scantling, all very fun names to say, who are young people who kind of after last year, after a lot of injury, got in the field and got playing time, and they were shown to be decent wide receivers. So we'll probably see a little bit more of them this year. So that's that for the wide receivers. Next, we move on to the tight end position. They have Jimmy Graham from last year. Jimmy Graham has been slowing down as his career has been ending. He's been injury prone, and a lot of people thought, including my friend sitting 2 seats to the right of me, that he was going to get a lot of targets in the red zone, which I really did too, as he picked him in fantasy.
Didn't do anything.
He didn't really do anything. So
Dropped him.
hopefully they'll include Jimmy Graham more, but they have more tight ends, so it improves them. Include them. Ryan talked about Jay Sternberger as well as Mercedes Lewis, 2 decent tight ends that I like that could fit into that offense. Green Bay's never had a phenomenal tight end, but they've always had people that get the job done. I think they can get the job done. Then we got the offensive line position here. Their offensive line, it's probably middle of the pack, more towards the top if I'm saying middle, but anyways, Corey Lindsley, the center, he's a good center. We got David Bakhtiari, Brian Beluga, just some pretty good players on the line. They have a decent offensive line. They obviously have to protect one of the best quarterbacks in the game currently, so they have to be good. So that is my take on the offense. A little bit scrambly as my voice is just going random places, but oops.
Okay.
And,
Are you done
what were you
with the
saying?
offense?
Actually,
Yes, you are.
we
Oh,
do.
there's a fullback named Danny Vitale.
All right,
All
thank
right.
you. What we actually forgot to do, we
He's
usually do this
25
before
years
this part,
old.
but we predict the records for these teams.
Oh,
we'll go through
shoot.
By week. Me and Ryan already have it pulled up on the computers. We'll give Jordan a second to get there. So yeah, that's what we think about the Packers. Obviously, me and
Yeah.
Jordan kind of hold the grudge against the Packers as Bears fans. But I'm not gonna lie to you. Even though I'm a Bears fan, I still have mutual respect for the Packers. I like your organization. I like what you've done with your organization. So, as long as the Bears win division, I hope you guys the best. I mean, that's really where we're at right now. As Jordan is pulling up to the thing.
So while he's pulling that up, I want to ask you guys each question.
Mhm.
Heading into the season, where do you rank Aaron Rodgers among quarterbacks in the league?
I would
8.
say he's probably like, I'd say 3. maybe.
3.
Like, he's
Wow.
So you think
Wow.
So you think he's better than one of Brady, Mahomes, or Breeze?
Yes.
Okay.
I just threw out a random number. I don't know if 8 would actually be a thing. It's a question I'd say 3 or 4.
I'd probably have him around 6.
Yeah, that's
you
what I
know.
was gonna say. 6.
I don't think he's as good as he used to be, but I still think he's very good.
Yep. I still think he is, even though he's getting older, he hasn't had a lot around him in recent years. But I still
That's
think
true.
if he can get things around him like the Patriots have with Tom Brady and the Saints have with Drew Brees, then it would be more clear. But I think it's based on, even though he doesn't have as good of a system.
Yep.
I still think he's a better quarterback. He could be a better quarterback than that too. I really need to go into more depth
Yeah,
looking
probably
that
do.
up, but that was just like right off
Depth.
the top of mind.
Depth.
Anyways, we now all have the schedule pulled up.
We do
actually.
yeah.
Yeah, I know that's what I said.
Yep. We
All right.
actually have the schedule pulled up now, and so we're gonna go through the games. We're gonna have Ryan go through the games. I went through the second time. Tyler went through them the first time. I know he was gonna try to take over like he usually
I was
does.
gonna ask.
But we're gonna let Ryan go through it right now.
All right. So week 1, first NFL game of the year at the Bears.
I'm giving the Bears a win on that one.
Yeah, I
gotta
think.
give the Bears a
Yeah, I
win.
think Packers lose that game.
Mm-hmm.
Week 2, they play host to the Vikings.
I say
Because they're at home, they will win.
I agree. All right. Then week 3, home against Denver.
I say because they're at home, they will win.
I think the Broncos are gonna win.
Wow.
Surprise 'em.
I got Green Bay winning that one. All right, this is a good one. A Thursday game. Hosting Philadelphia.
I say because they're at home, they're gonna lose.
I think they beat Philadelphia.
I think Philadelphia beats them, but that'll be a very good game. And
Yes,
a fun
it'll be
to
a fun
watch.
one. Yep, very fun.
All right. Week 5, they go to Dallas.
I think Dallas is gonna take that one.
I agree.
I disagree. I think
Wow.
Hey, Aaron Rodgers has a thing with the Cowboys. You know, he's beaten them
Oh,
a couple of times.
Exactly.
So that's possible, but I think Dak Prescott will get him this time. All right, then they come home and play Detroit at home.
I think they'll win since they're at home.
I agree.
They will win since they're at home.
Yeah. Then they play week 7. They host the Raiders.
I think they will win.
They will win since
They
they're at
will.
home.
Then it gets tough. They go to Kansas City. In week 8.
Oh, they're gonna lose that one.
That's a loss.
I have them winning that game.
Wow!
Big upset there.
I think
Actually,
the Packers are going to be a better team than you guys expect them to be.
All right.
But yes, that is a big upset.
Then another tough AFC West road game, week 9 at the Chargers.
I think the Chargers take that one.
Chargers will take that
Since
one.
they're at
Chargers
home.
will take that one, yes. All right, then they come back. It gets a little easier. They host Carolina.
I think they'll win that one since they're at home.
They will win that game because they're the better team. I think they would beat them in Carolina too. How about that?
Wow.
Oh, I think they're going to win
You
since
know,
they're at
I
home.
can't disagree with you because
Yeah.
I'm a big Panthers fan myself. Sorry, Panthers fans.
All right, then week 11 they have a bye, and then week
Yep,
12
I do.
they go to San Francisco.
I have them winning that game.
I have them losing.
I have them losing.
Right? Yeah, I think San Francisco's going to surprise some people this year.
I do too.
I feel like
Packers
people
will.
think that the 49ers are going to be better than they actually are, but they're not going to be a bad team. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, unfortunately. That's my take, but we'll deep dive on them
We
soon
will.
enough, probably.
Then they go play a road game on the other side of the country at the New York Giants.
Oh, they're going to win that game.
They will.
I have them losing that game.
Oh,
even though it's at the Giants,
my-
I feel like they're gonna get into a groove with the last 2 games that they win, and then the Giants are gonna come in and shock them.
Wow.
All right. Then they host the Redskins, week 14.
I think they'll win.
I think
they're
they'll
at
win.
home.
I think they'll lose. You know how high I am on the Redskins. I think the Redskins are going to be another one of those teams that surprise people. Then the rematch of week 1, week 15, they host the Bears.
I have the Bears winning that game.
I got to give it to the Packers
I give it to the Packers as well.
since they're at home.
Yeah. Packers close out with 3 division games. Then they go...
What fun.
Yeah, what fun indeed.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then they go to
Indeed.
Minnesota at the Vikings.
I think the
Minnesota
Vikings win that game.
I agree.
I
And then week 17 at Detroit.
think the Packers do win that game.
I have Detroit winning that
I have
game.
Detroit winning that game too.
I think the Packers win.
So that is their schedule.
I
We'll
said that
go.
already, though.
Who wants to start? Tell us. Give us a little analysis of their
We'll start
prediction.
with Jordan because I don't
Yeah.
want to take over. Jordan, you can start.
What am I doing?
I'll read the record.
Yeah, and just talk a little
Oh,
about it.
okay. Well, I have them going 9-7. I think that is probably exactly where I would put them if I was just gonna not write this down at all. I think they're gonna be a decent team. I don't think they're gonna win the division this year. But like I said, I think they're gonna be a decent team. They're gonna find a way to win some games. They're also gonna find a way to lose some games. Hopefully, for the Packers' sake, Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy, and the rest of the team can stay healthy. And hopefully, or not hopefully for me, but hopefully Matt LaFleur can bring more life to that offense and that whole team.
All right, so I have the Packers going 7-9 this year. I know that's a little lower than
Wow! Whoa!
but hear me out.
Whoa!
So
Whoa!
All right, chill.
I have the Packers going
Whoa.
6-2 at home and 1-7 on the road because the Packers have a very tough road schedule. They got to go to Dallas. Excuse you, to the Chiefs. They got to go to Dallas, to Kansas City, to Los Angeles to play the Chargers, to San Francisco, and then of course for the division they got to play Chicago and Minnesota on the road.
Yeah.
All those games I named are games that I think they will lose, and I feel like the NFC North is just a division that always beats each other up. So I have them going 3-3 in their division play, splitting with every team actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I think it's a very close division, but I just think the Packers aren't quite on the same level as the Vikings and Bears. I think they'll be in it for a while, but I think ultimately they're just not as good as some of these teams that they have to play. You know, I don't see them beating Dallas or
They need
Kansas
more
City
depth.
or the Chargers. So it should be interesting. Maybe they can surprise me and prove they still got one more playoff run left in the tank. But I got the Packers. What?
Oh, nothing.
I got the Packers going 7-9, third in the NFC North.
All right. Could you please stop tapping me? Thank you. I agree with Jordan on my record for the Packers. I have the Packers going 9-7. Please chill out. Thank you.
Wow.
The Packers going 9-7 this year. A lot of the things you guys have said are very true. Aaron Rodgers, of course, being the leader of that team, I do believe he can. He's one of the little quarterbacks in the league that could carry a team
Little,
Yeah.
like, size.
to the playoffs or even to the championships. So I think even with that and their new additions to their defense as well, which I talked about before, I think that's enough to get them 9-7 in a wild card spot in the playoffs. Okay, so that is going to be our deep dive for the Green Bay Packers. We're kind of just doing this in a random order here. There's no
Yeah.
specific order. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below who you want us to do, or which team you want us to deep dive into next.
There you go.
Yeah, do it.
Yep.
Comment.
And we will see
Do
you
it.
guys later.
Bye.